And tonight we're going to talk about a variety of subjects, and I have joining me Mr. Mark Pierce, sports writer of the Beaufort Gazette. Thanks for joining me this evening. And it's weird, it's a Friday, and we don't have to go to any football games tonight.
We got nothing going on, nothing at all.
But let's look back at last week just for a second here. Battery Creek did make it to the playoffs, and their season is over now, and they went up to a cold North Augusta, and things didn't work out so well for them.
Yeah, you were up there. I was up there. It was pretty chilly up there. We got there and got in the press box, and one of the guys said, you know, this is perfect. We're finally here. It's football weather, and all I could think of was it's not really football weather for them Low Country boys. And it proved to be right. You know, Battery Creek just never got going. We never got to see the Battery Creek offense that happened, that dominated teams all year long and dominated defenses. And instead it was North Augusta that got things going. But it was a good season for them. They made it to the playoffs the third year in a row. That's a school record. They put together one of the most prolific passing seasons that's ever been put together by a high school, you know, regardless of it being Battery Creek or not. More than 3,000 yards passing. Last year, Colin Drafts had 2,900 yards passing. You know, that's 6,000 yards in the air over 2 seasons. So that's pretty impressive what they did. And it's all, you know, under Scott Lopatka, the offensive coordinator.
Okay. Now let's talk about some of the things that are taking place now. First off, basketball season. Well, football season's over and basketball comes right around, and a couple of teams should be pretty good this year.
Yeah, we're looking at Beaufort High is going to have probably a very solid boys basketball team, and of course they've got the girls program that's coming back. Battery Creek's looking like they're going to put together 2 solid programs. I know Joe Stroman's more excited than I've seen him since I've been here about his girls basketball team. Even the smaller schools, Beaufort Academy, they've won the Frederica tournament already this year. Thomas Hayward, they've got Dorian Capers over there now. Unfortunately, Michael Schufert is out right now. They're hoping he'll be back in time for you know, holidays. By the time they start up in the new year, they're hoping he'll be back. But the Thomas Hayward girls and Beaufort Academy girls teams also look like they're on the upswing too.
And we'll get a chance to see them coming up in this classic. The boys teams will play in this classic, right?
Right. The Thomas Hayward Coca-Cola Low Country Classic is what I think it's called, and it starts on Monday at Thomas Hayward, and it'll have Patrick Henry and St. Paul's Country Day will also play there with Thomas Hayward and Beaufort Academy, and they'll play the first round on Monday, and then the championship and consolation game on Tuesday. So it's all compressed within a 2-day period. And we'll get a chance to see, you know, if Thomas Hayward and Beaufort Academy both make it to the finals, which they should, it could be a very intense, inspired game, I would say.
Okay. Now, a basketball player from last year that played out at Battery Creek, right? Dominique Ward, I'm talking about.
Right.
But she's better known for track, and she was supposed to sign someplace. So.
Well, we heard she was going to sign this week. We heard she was going to sign with a smaller college. Won't say which one it is. But at the last minute, kind of a few hours before the signing was supposed to happen, we heard that she wasn't going to sign. I'm hoping what that means is that she's holding out for a bigger college because, you know, she's a state champion in the 400 meters. I think she finished 3rd in the 200 meters at the state championships. She's super fast. She's a very, very smart girl. She can go to a Division I school, and hopefully that's what this means.
But now somebody did sign last week, and that's Mark Anderson. Can you tell me a little bit about Mark?
Mark is a kid that he won the SCISA individual tournament. Beaufort Academy won the team SCISA tournament. Mark Anderson's also won a junior golf tournament this year and finished 5th in another one. He's a kid that they call the pro. His opponents call him that when they played against him at the SCISA tournament. A lot of grumblings and mumblings from other kids about, hey, you can't beat the pro, you know. He's just an unflappable kid. He goes out there, he plays good, solid golf. He doesn't really have a weakness in his game. He's got nowhere to go but up once he gets better at each of his individual skills that he has a good grasp on already. A lot of kids, since I first got here 3 years ago, one of the first things that I had to do was cover Mark Anderson, and I was surprised then at how mature and how well he seemed to handle all the pressures that go with playing golf. And I covered him in a tournament where he beat the adults and the pros and everybody else that was in the tournament. And they were all just kind of shaking their heads that, you know, this kid's 16 years old and, you know, none of us were able to play golf like that when we were 16. So he's going to University of South Carolina. I don't think I mentioned that, but he's going to one of the better golf programs. Puggy Blackman is their coach, and he's from Beaufort. They're on the upswing, definitely. South Carolina wasn't always known as a golf school, but they are starting to get known a little bit more as a golf school. And he's got a good future ahead of him, I think.
He's on the upswing with the golf. Okay,
Yeah.
I
You
got
like
that, by the way. Yeah, okay. Okay, we talked about Carolina and golf. Now let's talk about big game tomorrow. You know, everybody in South Carolina knows about this game.
Ohio State, Michigan?
Yeah, that one. But no, the other one, Gamecocks and Tigers.
Oh, yeah.
Carolina and Clemson, right, yeah. And we do have some local interest in that. Donnell Washington plays for Clemson.
Right.
And
my nemesis, Savell Newton, plays for South Carolina.
Oh, see, you brought that up, but okay. Let's talk about Donnell before we.
Okay, all right.
Savell's having a good year up there too.
As a wide receiver, just like I said.
Yeah. Okay. But Donnell, how's Donnell doing?
Donnell's doing great, actually. You know, he's turned out to be one of the more solid prospects in football, and he kind of snuck up on people. He's a defensive lineman that he doesn't have a lot of sacks. He doesn't have a lot of tackles, but what he does have is a lot of quarterback pressures. When you see a lot of things that Clemson's been able to do on defense this year, and you saw a lot of it in the Florida State game, which they won last week, when you see what Clemson's doing, what they're doing is they're putting pressure. They're collapsing the pocket. They're getting in the backfield. And the guy that's making that happen really is Donnell Washington. And it's just been amazing to watch how quickly he's come up on people and how quickly he's jumped onto radar screens for people talking about, you know, what's this guy going to do after college? You know, it used to be last year at this time we were talking about Greg Jones was the guy that was going to be playing on Sundays. And now, you know, I'm not saying Greg Jones isn't going to be playing on Sundays because he probably is. But Donnell Washington now, I think, is the guy that we're looking at saying, you know, he might be the one that ends up being the bigger pro.
So that's going to be a good game tomorrow. And I want to tell our viewers about Savell Newton, because I'm sure some people may have forgotten that you said something about him when they played at Battery Creek, and I don't think he liked what you said about when that was Marlboro County played Battery
Marlboro
Creek.
County,
he
right.
was a quarterback, and he didn't like what you wrote about it. But I'm willing to make a prediction about this game tomorrow, if you will.
Well, let's see. Let me hear your prediction first.
I say Clemson's going to win.
I think you're stupid.
Clemson's going to win, and I think that may help save Tommy Bowden's job.
I think it'll be a good game that Carolina pulls out in the end, and Tommy Bowden will finally be gone, thank God.
And Michigan is going to beat Ohio State as well.
Now that proves you're insane.
Mark, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Juan.
And it's the NewsHour.